The question of the day is, should you or should you not take reservations at your restaurant? I'm Dave Allred, the Real Barman from barpatrol.net and therealbarman.com. How you doing today? All right, so for the common person who goes out to eat and doesn't know any better, this wouldn't even seem like a debate. Like, of course you should take reservations. Why wouldn't you take reservations and book people to eat at your restaurant? Moron. All right, but as many of you know, all right, it's not that simple. So today we're going to look at the pros and cons of taking reservations at your restaurant. I find that restaurants are all over the place when it comes to this. All right, some don't take reservations at all. All right, they are dead set against it. Some do call ahead seating, and some places who believe they are super duper exclusive only take reservations. In fact, in about 3 weeks, I'm going to a place called the French Laundry in Yountville, California, in Napa, for my brother-in-law's birthday, and they only take reservations, and you have to book it out like 2 to 4 months in advance. All right, that's insane that people would wait for that long to go to a restaurant. It's so important to them that they'd wait that long. And yet somehow I'm going. All right, but I didn't make the reservations. I'm just kind of tagging along. So restaurants are all over the place. Much of this is going to depend on which type of restaurant you are. You know, fine dining, you're most likely going to take them. You know, Panda Express, I'm going to say no. All right, and then we have all the restaurants in between, sort of the casual to super casual to nice casual. So with that said, let's see if I can help you out determine what's right for your restaurant. All right, so let's start with the pros. First off, guests love reservations because it gives them the security of knowing that there's going to be a table waiting for them at a designated time and they don't have to wait. All right, if you do not have reservations, that uncertainty when going out to eat can cause dining out anxiety, and reservations eliminate that and makes paying customers happy, which is always a good thing. In fact, people are more likely to travel at a distance for a meal if they know that they can reserve a table at a preferred time. So making guests happy should always be a top priority. All right, second, it allows you as the restaurant to semi-plan the night. All right, you can't plan for how many walk-ins are coming in, but when you can see the reservations that have been booked as well as how many people are in each party, it's helpful for organizing tables and helping the cooks prep in the kitchen. All right, in other words, it reduces the overwhelm and surprises. All right, and then the third pro for taking reservations is that the big parties are far more likely to come to your place if you have reservations. All right, nobody wants to plan a night out with 12 people and hope that they won't have to wait for an hour to sit down. And bigger parties, usually means more money for you. All right, so you want to make sure that we're getting those in there. All right, but really the main factor here is that people like it and often expect it, so to not take reservations is a bit risky, all right? I'm not going to lie. With that said, let's jump into the cons of taking reservations. First off, the biggest con of taking reservations that you will hear from both managers and staff, what they complain about the most is the no-show, or worse yet, the delayed show. All right, at least with the no-show, you can move on and seat someone else at the table. All right, with the delayed show, you have someone who reserved a table for like a party of 8 and one person's sitting there, they're texting on their phone and they keep saying sheepishly, they'll be like, they're on their way. I'm really sorry. They're just running, a little bit late. Well, a little bit late's like 10 minutes. All right. But you know how it goes, like 45 minutes or an hour later, finally everyone arrives. All right. Some people figure that if they have a reservation that they have rented out your entire restaurant for the whole night and they can do whatever the hell they want. All right, because some people are a-holes and they take advantage of a situation at the cost of others. Okay, so we all know this. So I find this to be a main factor with most owners and managers I know when trying to decide if they want to take reservations. It's a big headache. This one factor is that big because you have guests waiting to eat and like 3 or 4 of your tables, have delayed or no shows. And the people waiting are looking at these empty set tables and they're like, what the hell? Why aren't those being sat? So that's the main factor. But con number 2 is that reservations can cause a delay in table turnover, which is in turn costing you sales. And then con number 3 is that you have to decide, if you do decide to take reservations, you'll need to decide what reservation system you're going to use. You're going to go old school and just take them by phone and write them in a planner? Or are you going to sign up with a third-party reservation system like OpenTable or Yelp Waitlist? Or maybe you already have a POS system that does this as well. This is a temporary con because once you have it in place, it's in place. All right, but also with reservation systems, you have more pros and cons because, some of them can be quite expensive, like OpenTable, which charges like $250 a month, plus per diner fees of like 25 cents to $1 per person, depending on whether the reservation was made on your website or OpenTable's website. All right, that means some restaurants are paying like $2,000 a month for OpenTable. All right, and restaurants are even charged by OpenTable for these reservations, even when the diners are no-show, unless the reservation is marked as a no-show within 48 hours. And that's kind of ridiculous. All right, but then the pro here is that OpenTable has an excellent marketing platform that brings you a lot of traffic, sort of like how TripAdvisor works. Okay, but in my opinion, there are systems out there now just as good as OpenTable at half the price. I believe OpenTable is at the point now that they're really, they're like taking blood-sucking advantage of restaurants. So I would personally choose someone else, but that's, their prerogative. They're a business. They can charge whatever they want, right? You don't have to use them. You can use someone else, but I'll leave that for another video on, how to choose a good reservation system. All right, we won't get into that right now. So now I'm not sure, if you're any closer to deciding if you should take a reservation or not. That's the problem with pros and cons, right? You're like, I show you both sides and you're like, did that help me at all? That just kind of confused me more. All right, so let me take it one step further. I'm going to insert my opinion here, and then maybe that will help sway you a bit, or maybe you'll find yourself, reacting violently against my opinion, and that's going to help you answer the other way, okay? So here's what's what. I am all about moving forward and adapting to the ever-changing business model in our industry. And that includes using technology to make things easier, faster, and more streamlined, and most importantly, to help you make more money. In my humble opinion, you can't not have reservations in this day and age. All right, people now expect it, and when you don't provide what other restaurants provide, basically what your competitors provide, they are exiting from your website, or they're hanging up the phone after talking with you, and they're finding another place to eat because you don't take reservations. And this is a painful reality. All right, and you can't allow that to happen. With that said, you can create a functional system of procedures for yourself that will help you keep from ramming your head into the table out of frustration, which means that you need to put policies in place that protect you from the self-involved a-holes that screw it all up. So some of your policies might be for no-shows. If nobody shows up within 10 minutes after the reservation time, the table's going to be given away. And for larger parties, at least 80% of the party must be there before you're going to seat them. Then you need to decide how long that wait time is in which you are going to allow before, you give their table away. All right, this one's a bit trickier because, you don't want to piss people off when half the party's there, they're already sitting there. And we know more are coming, but, I believe 30 minutes is a reasonable amount of time, especially if you make it absolutely clear when they're making the reservation, either by, telling them over the phone or having a large warning on your website when they're making the reservation. All right, I don't have the perfect cookie cutter policies for every type of location out there. You're going to need to decide what works for you. But by putting policies in place, you can at least have some control over the no-shows and the delayed shows. Okay? So hopefully this got you thinking a bit on how you might handle your reservations or not handle them if you decide not to take them. All right, that's my 2 cents. I hope you're able to make a decision after watching and listening to this episode. I want to thank you for hanging out with me today. I do appreciate it. I am going to see you next time. I'm out.